Yeah, thank you for the invitation first. And I would like to take the opportunity to wish the best for the upcoming presidency. It's a great task that you have to accomplish. And I also have a wish, maybe, because it's a time, is that indeed this issue on platforms that you put today on the table will continue to be discussed under your presidency. I think it's a very important issue. The Commission, the European Union as a whole has to deal with these new phenomena, and I think it's new enough in order to merit that we spend time on it. You mentioned one thing which is completely true. You say that on platforms there are different views among member states. But I should say it's life, and it's something which happens very often. If you take all the draft regulations that the Commission has put on the table, you have very often different views. On GDPR, for instance, which is a little bit connected to platform, I think we spent 5 years in order to find an agreement between us. So it's something which happens quite often. But you want me to talk a little bit about French views on platforms. And what I can tell you first is that it's indeed a subject that has a lot of interest in France. We spent a lot of time, and we had many studies, reports on that issue. The first one in 2013 by our Senate. Another one by our Digital National Council in 2004. Another one from the Conseil d'État, also in 2014. And we have also even now a law, or a draft law, which is discussed on the digital issues. And there are some articles which are dedicated to platforms and what we should do with platforms, on the questions that you raised. Should we regulate them? How should we regulate them? What kind of request we should have vis-à-vis platform? But let me say that all these studies have conducted us to make a general assessment, which is very much in line with what was said before by our two colleagues from Slovakia and by the Commission, which is that platform play a very important role in terms of innovation and growth. Not only innovation growth, by the way, but also jobs. And I think you also question and we have to raise this issue, what kind of jobs? They create jobs, but we see that there are sometimes difficulties when you look at Amazon employees or as Uber employees, how they deal with the social care and things like that. So it's a very disruptive pattern. They have, and it was also mentioned, revolutionized access to information, and this is also very important. But we have also to think about issues like pluralism. Are we sure that this platform, which bring information closer to us, respect one of the fundamental value of the democracy, which is pluralism? And the question of which is the right framework, which is the right condition to attract innovation and develop business for consumer is also very important. What are our objectives in France regarding platform? And this is also something which was already mentioned. We should preserve innovation capacity and fair competition. And I think that's a statement on which everybody agrees. And we should ensure that all actors have access to the same condition, to the level playing field, and comparable rules for comparable digital services. It's something which is taken out of the communication of the Commission. But what should we address in what are the problems we should try to solve? What are the problems first that we have identified, and what kind of solution shall we bring? What I can say about the consultation launched by the Commission and the communication published a couple of days ago is that indeed they have addressed many or they have identified many problems that we have had already identified in France in our different reports. So this obligation to behave responsibly, the obligation also to be loyal in their behavior, the fact that for the same service we should have the same rules, and the fact that all business should have equal access to the platforms. Another thing is that there are some other issues that should be addressed. For instance, we should be sure that we can promote a general approach, because even if platforms are different, there are some key elements which are common to them. And based on this key element, we can certainly have general rules which guarantee some very important issues. I already mentioned loyalty, access, interoperability, that things that are more or less common to all the platforms, and that should be guaranteed. It's the reason why in France we believe that we do need a general framework dedicated to platforms. And of course, there is a critique that this framework should not prevent innovation, should not prevent startups to develop, and we fully agree on that. It's the reason why the framework should focus on what we call structural platforms. That means the one which have a very strong effect on the market. Why do we need to look more carefully to this structural platform? First, because the general rules, and I'm sure that James will tell us that, of course, platforms are already regulated, they are submitted to the competition law and so on, but indeed, everybody agrees that the time of the platform is not the time of the competition law. We see, for instance, there is this a very good example of the Google case, which was launched early 2010, and we have not yet even a decision. It's 5 years' time, and for companies using the service of Google and complaining against Google, of course, this time is obviously too long. In terms of business-to-business relation, what are the main problems that we have identified? It's a problem that we also found in the result of the consultation, and that also mentioned in the communication of the Commission. There is a list here of this problem. You can see there is this problem of dependency and exclusivity. I think it was over 80% of the respondents to the public consultation of the Commission, said that there is a lack of transparency. They don't understand. Even if you agree on the term of condition, most of the time, most of the people doesn't read them and doesn't understand what they agree on. There was also this concern about the using of data. What do the platform with our data? And we all know that the usage of data is the blood of the platform. It's a way they make money with. Okay, I should speed up a little bit. Okay, you see all the problems we have identified. One thing is, in this communication, the Commission tells us, okay, we agree, we have many problems, but wait and see. Wait until 2017 to make further examination. Of course, it's evident that we need to assess the problem, but there is already a lot of materials through the consultation, and we really ask the Commission to come with solutions, especially in the B2B relationship. I will skip this B2B, and I will, because I already mentioned it, and regarding consumer, I think that there is already some initiative taken by the Commission in order to guarantee that the consumer relation with the platform will be fair. But in France, we do believe we should go a step further. It's the reason why, for instance, in our law, in our legislation, we put an obligation of loyalty of the platform. And that means, for instance, when you are using a platform, you receive a lot of information, opinions regarding, for instance, hotels or restaurants and so on. What we want is that this information is fair, or at least that the platform indicate if the opinion is independent or there is a link between the opinion and the operator offering the service. And I think it's a minimum of information. It's also mentioned in the communication of the Commission that it's very important, because if you know that it's not fair, you will not choose. But if you don't know, you may make a wrong choice. So it's all the requests that we have. I think the Commission already made a great job. It was in order maybe also to respond to the request of some member states. France, Germany has for this consultation, has for this communication. We are on the track, but there is further work to do, to be done. So thank you very much.